Picking up from where we left off, everyone is in the prison working hard because now they have boxing classes. Danpei telling Joe he can't be his full-time trainer, which is crazy considering when he met Joe, the first thing he did was cry and say, "I need you in my life." Just like I need women in my life. Naturally, that has Joe, how do I say, angry, and oh my god, look who it is. Listen to that. This is the manliest men in the history of men, as Skeleton dick rides Rikishi because he's a goblin.
Dick riding all you do?
While Rikishi understands the consequences of drawing and losing, technically. Joe won the match based on pure hatred and a rather relatable outlook, while Danpei has a plan for Lesson 5 and Aoyama is making a clown of himself. But Danpei sees this scrawny, pathetic child and realizes he has the potential, and he basically just cooks Joe. Tomorrow's Aoyama doesn't have a good ring to it, does it? Joe is training so hard his hands are physically bleeding, while Rikishi is showing off his insane aura. I mean, how can you not admire him? Even though Joe calls him a stripper for some reason. But then we see it. Danpei teaching Aoyama how to box. Look at that face. This is next level betrayal. I mean, he's ignoring his day 1, which is what Lesson 5 is, but Joe is livid. I mean, he's being ignored by his boy. Remember how I said Joe was filled with determination? Well, it's more like the Persona 1 hospital OST. Joe about to fuck something up. It's now the next day and these guys are playing cards while Joe is depressed, like me at the end of Persona 3. Point being, Joe then cosplays Solid Snake and these guys are cosplaying like teenagers, and you can imagine this isn't going to end well, and you know what, just see.
Oh, great heavens!
I mean, if that happened to me, I'd kill myself.
Holy literal fucking shite. I mean, instant replay. That was murder. He's dead. He took his life. While Aoyama and Danpei are training outside, you'd think these guys would have caught on to the fact angering Joe is not a good idea.
He gets 5 big booms.
As Joe decides to train by himself independently with Aoyama still training, Joe looking like the betrayed child. There's trouble in Traitor Town or Terrorist Town because Danpei is being a terrorist. I mean, Joe is begging at this point and Danpei is brushing off his boy, and now Rikishi's talking shit. Everyone's amused, but I'm not. I mean, he's got Joe standing in the rain like he got rejected in a romance anime. Surely his man couldn't leave him behind, right? But now Joe has evolved, and Nishi is so smart you'd think he made the manga, while someone needs a doctor, Numata, who got his ass kicked by Aoyama in brutal fashion, and for the guy who's supposed to be Danpei's prodigy, Aoyama doesn't exactly have that sort of mentality. He doesn't have like that killer instinct.
You bitch.
I mean, he's a coward, really afraid of Joe, who's also trying to kill everyone because he needs to know what happened. Taking goes into a flashback, with Aoyama dodging all the offense from this clown. They looked away for 1 second and the guy was dead.
The next day, the motherfucker was dead.
As I have a stroke briefly, Joe going to confront the man because it's pretty clear Aoyama did something deadly. And Aoyama starts rage baiting Joe, but it's not rage bait because he doesn't even know he's doing it. And just as the fight's about to occur,
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Rikishi appears out of nowhere. And I do mean this seriously now, where the hell did he come from? He was literally not in the screen. Who calms the entire situation down and also kind of pisses Joe off a bit more. But Rikishi also wants the rematch against Joe, and is he okay?
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
The next day arriving of Joe training against the punching bag, trying to distract himself as the boxing tournament officially begins. Everyone will be in the correct weight class, accurate gloves and headgear. Alpha males with massive dicks don't need headgear because Rikishi won't be wearing any. And neither will Joe, who declares war on Aoyama. Danpei is still the biggest rage baiter of all time. And it's Rikishi's fight first. This isn't a boxing match, this is an execution as Rikishi obliterates this guy. He broke him so powerfully the man ended up upside down outside the ring. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what we expected. The next match is Aoyama vs Matoba, and this skeleton keeps yapping about Aoyama being focused on Joe. Like, all this guy does is talk. Just stop it.
Shut up, bitch!
The fight officially beginning, Aoyama's smaller stature and size allowing him to speed around the ring with little resistance. Using the footwork Danpei taught him, spamming those weaves got his opponent gassed, and then Aoyama stands still with humiliating dodges angering his opponent because look at this dodging, man. He is untouchable. It's actually majestic. Aoyama's tactic is tiring his opponents so much they basically nearly keel over and die and then kill them. Quick fire jabs and punches unguarded because the man can't defend himself. I mean, Jesus Christ, throw in the towel. One massive punch bringing the man down. I mean, wow. Aoyama smiling at Joe. This is a declaration of war, and Danpei is still being a dick. Listen to that laugh. This is the laugh of someone who's gonna kill somebody. With Joe's fight beginning, and Joe is sloppy, unable to deal with his opponent's tight-ass guard, only anger him even more. Eating a combo before going down because this turtle strategy is making easy work of Joe. Eating more punches going down for a second time. Yeah, if there's one thing you don't want to do, it's piss Joe off. Because he's not angry, he's fucking livid. Flying headbutt, shoulders, kicks, begging Danpei to take points away because Joe starts beating the ever-loving dog shit out of this guy, bro. Right and left's pouring down on his opponent with no mercy, keeping him up in tears because that's how angry he is. That's real anger, guys. That's how badly the betrayal has hurt him. And he wins by beating the man into levitation. It's like Punch-Out, sending him out to the ring with a big thud. Yeah, he looks dead, Joe being declared our victor, and the little alliance of children are gonna kill Danpei for his betrayal, which is understandable, isn't it? With everyone in our prison debating on who will be the victor, Ayama or Joe. Rikishi giving his philosophical answer, realizing Danpei's training has a secret method towards it. And now everyone's betting on Ayama. Well, you should always bet on Joe Yabuki, no matter what. Joe is still depressed watching Aoyama and Danpei train, or maybe it was just their spirit as he destroys the scenery before getting into a cold shower to understand why his boy would do this to him. The next day, Yoko arrives, but this time with a grandfather. Yoko's grandfather is a pretty important man in the boxing world, which gives everyone a chance to show off. Aoyama vs Joe, and Nishi all ready to back his boy. Joe apparently has a lot of determination. He's a big shot. Both men exchanging trash talk with Aoyama actually winning and Danpei stripping points of Joe instantly. This is favoritism, and then he does it again.
I'm gonna shot your fucking jaw!
What the fuck's this guy's problem? The bell ringing, Joe eating jabs and straights, instantly getting battered against the ropes, missing his offense, swinging at nothing but air as Aoyama makes easy work of Joe, comboing our boy into oblivion. So badly he keeps hitting nothing but the air. Slipping and getting punched mid-slip, which is declared a knockdown. Which technically was a slip as he hit Joe when he was falling, but Majima is being an asshole.
He's cheating!
Joe eating more punches in black and yellow domain expansions apparently. Eating more left and rights against the ropes, unable to defend it with an uppercut. Making Joe fuse in the ring. I'm sorry here. I'm sorry, let's pause for a moment. This isn't me, right? Joe's position is actually not possible.
Is he in the fucking ground?
Falling down like a salad through a windshield. Elton man getting killed by a child. Joe realizing he must follow the basics of the lessons of tomorrow, throwing his punches Aoyama dodges, still running away like the little coward he is, giving Joe an abundance of punches to the face. Joe still unable to do anything against Aoyama. In a heartbreaking display, the domain expansion hitting again like the multiverse of power for God's sake. Joe goes down again, envisioning in his mind Danpei abandoning him. Rikishi turning his back on him as Joe gets back up, locked in. Aoyama approaching as Joe uses the cross-arm guard, even Rikishi shot, because this time Joe isn't playing into anyone's hands. Nishi realizing that this is not an evil demon, this is Joe Yabuki humbling himself into the reality of boxing. This is him accepting reality. Look at that presence. There's never been a more focused man, ladies and gentlemen. And over, Joe slipping Aoyama's offense, avoiding and using that footwork, going on his own offense, literally stealing all Aoyama's talent like he's Kisei, before pulverizing with a massive right, knocking him down, because now Joe is dominating. And in the span of about 10 seconds, Aoyama gets knocked down again, giving Joe a glorious victory, both men passing out because of the intensity. Got the grandfather in tears as everyone applauds, except Rikishi because he's aura farming for some reason. As Rikishi knew what Danpei's plan was, Danpei apologizing for some reason to both men. This was all for Joe, calling Joe off and making him fend for himself, teaching Aoyama defense so Joe could learn it for himself without someone training him. I mean, that's great, but that's a bit of a dick move, isn't it? Aoyama isn't even hurt, he's appreciative of Danpei teaching him how to be confident, while Joe, for like the first time in his life, actually apologizes and recognizes Danpei's goals, because the dream partnership is back. It only took 5 episodes.
Well, you can tell everybody.
But now it's time for the real match. Joe vs Rikishi 2. Joe training ever so hard despite the weather, but he's here, looking ever so magnificent.
He's pulling his cock out!
No, he's just in his boxing attire ready for a brawl. This is so gay, man.
Show the ankles right.
Rikishi wants to fight today due to something happening soon, and Joe is going to take that, blindsiding Rikishi with a combo, knocking the guard down. Rikishi telling Joe to finish this in the ring while the inmates are rioting for an unknown reason, doing it on purpose so they can fight, which is actually really awesome, isn't it? Both men setting up the ring. This boxing match will be knockout only, no holds barred. Rikishi intentionally pissing Joe off, while one prison guard informs everyone else. Giving back to the fight, Rikishi battering Joe bloody with both men exchanging punches against each other. Joe battering the man with rights and body blows, using all his training to take advantage of the caught off guard man. Joe getting distracted enough to eat a big right before a combo with an uppercut to knocking Joe down. As Rikishi is going to leave in 3 days, Joe punching with another right and then another, bringing Rikishi down with a knockdown. But Danpei manages to stop it, saying they should fight in the professional boxing ring, even though Rikishi is from the bigger weight class. And you may be wondering how Joe could do that much damage. Well, he was cheating. He had rocks in his gloves. Which is cheating, let's be honest, but, you know, if you have to win, you have to win. And plus, Rikishi is, you know, double his weight, and Rikishi's just that strong, those rocks barely did anything. As our bromance continues, or more like a fatherhood running into tomorrow. And look at that drip. It's officially Rikishi's final day in our prison. A sad day because he's leaving, but a glorious day because he's going to continue his boxing career. Everyone's glazing, and honestly, I don't blame them. This is just like the most manly guy ever. Rikishi giving his speech a declaration that he will work hard to not let anyone down and achieve his destiny. Joe opting for his own goodbye, trying to fight him. Look at that expression. While Rikishi finds out that Joe had rocks in his gloves, and I actually don't know how he did that, to be honest with you, giving him the opportunity to fight in the professional boxing ring, leaving as Joe watches the doors close, losing his rival. The lack of Rikishi in the prison is tragic, while no one can even gamble fairly because they're that confident Joe will win. But Rikishi leaving also has Joe depressed about boxing. He doesn't even want to compete due to the fact his boy's gone. It also turns out Aoyama is leaving, but Aoyama has one last request, fighting in the ring one last time. Everyone's hyped while Joe eats a sudden big left, sending him backwards, and then a right knocking him down for the first time because Joe doesn't have it. But then he envisions the man, Rikishi, wakes up battering the image of Rikishi into the corner without remorse because come on now. Joe getting his victory with 7 months left before he can leave. This time it's Nishi's turn to leave the detention center, which means Joe will officially be alone without his boys, with Joe having a visitor, who is it, the GOAT himself, Danpei, making Joe train intensely. Doing the most insane sit-ups I've seen in my life. My back would be gone until we see Rikishi on the big screen. Shiragaki boxing gym for his return match, with our first fight beginning, Rikishi instantly on the offense, destroying his opponent with blows to the body and the face. Left, right, but boom, a massive counter knocking Rikishi down. Those jabs making light work of our boy. It's almost heartbreaking with a cut above the eye. The next round beginning with Rikishi getting battered, but then he flips that switch and listen. Giving Rikishi the victory because that has Joe inspired. Skipping ahead a few months and it's officially Joe's time to leave in his iconic attire as they start flinging literal shit and mud at each other. And despite everyone wishing him to be gone, they're gonna miss him. Everyone saying goodbye as Joe officially leaves the prison. Ending our episode and video for now.